Let's do a quick update of Hurricane Sally. As of this evening, the storm is approaching the Gulf Coast. You can see it there about 60 or 70 miles south of Mobile, Alabama. And it's starting to show a little bit of an eye. But it's possible that may just be a weak spot in the central overcast region. Just in the past hour, we've seen this flare-up of convection close to the coast on the north and northeast side of the storm. And here's what we're looking at on the radar. This is the eye wall. And to the north, the spiral bands, those have already moved inland, and we're seeing the winds picking up in this area right here. The velocity product is showing the winds strengthening just a little bit in the eye wall, picking up almost 80 knots, some 80 to 85. This is going to be up at about 5,000 feet or so, since this is some distance from the radar. And on the other side, 70 to 80 knots. And the Echo Top product showing that flare-up in the convection, with one cell right there topping out at about 52,000 feet. And the multi-platform wind analysis suggests that the strongest winds are in the eastern quadrant of the storm. And that should continue to be the case as the system approaches Alabama and adjoining areas of Mississippi and Florida. It's likely that the strongest impacts will be in this area. That kind of lines up with what we saw there on the high-resolution rapid refresh analysis. Now here's the high-resolution rapid refresh track of maximum wind gusts. This is for the entire model run out to 36 hours. Now this assumes a track towards Gulf Shores and Orange Beach. And this is slightly east of the track that NHC was carrying through much of today. So based on this, we would expect the maximum winds to be pretty close to the Florida-Alabama border, and the eye wall on the north and west side should create a band of strong winds on the opposite side as well, across Mobile Bay and coastal areas just south of Mobile. And just to update that older information, this is the 21Z model. This is the latest high-resolution model data we have. And since this is in line with the revised track from NHC, which is kind of bringing the track towards Gulf Shores, similar to what the model was forecasting at 12Z, I think we're in pretty good agreement, and this has got good confidence, I think, with what the storm is going to do. So opening up, the current time, you can see those blues coming onto the shore there. This is 55 to 65 knots, which is about 65 to 70 mile an hour winds. So, yeah, the winds are definitely picking up. And as the evening goes on, this is about 10 to 11 p.m., and we start seeing these greens and yellows approaching the coast. That's going to be your 80 to 90 mile an hour wind gusts. Now, keep in mind that's not sustained winds. These are gusts, so this is kind of at the high end. So we're talking about 80 to 90 mile an hour gusts. So these little small scale features that you see sticking out, don't worry about those too much. The model does not handle those very well. What's important is the general idea of this eye wall. We see that moving onto the coast about 7Z. That's going to be about 3 in the morning or so. So the eye wall is crossing over. This is when they're getting the maximum winds there at places like Gulf Shore. And then we see the eye crossing over about 5 to 6 in the morning. And this is not a very well-defined eye, nothing like what we had with Laura, but there should be a drop-off in winds, and probably there will be a cloud-filled eye there. So that's crossing over about 6 to 7 a.m. and then working its way inland, and you can see the maximum gusts about 80 knots here and there. Looks like Mobile also getting 75 to 80 knot gusts, which is about 80 to 90 miles an hour. It's going to be kind of in that range there. And then we should see the storm quickly become overcome by friction, and those velocities will go down pretty quick. And the last frame I have is right there. That's going to be about 10 to 11 in the morning. And we should see the wind start to come down pretty significantly during the morning, but there is going to be quite a bit of damage here and there. Again, as I mentioned in the last video, it's not going to be catastrophic, but it should be pretty extensive enough to take out power. And a lot of the less well-built structures will likely have extensive damage. And also there's the storm surge to be concerned with. There's that product. I'm not a hydrologist, so I'm not going to second guess any of this. But yeah, 4 to 6 feet. So that's going to come up across some of the barrier islands, probably not up to the level of stilt houses or anything like that, but they certainly will take a beating. And of course the rainfall potential. Yeah, that's going to be pretty significant. 20 inches around the Gulf Shores area, and then inland 10 to 15 inches, and then up to Atlanta they're expecting to get over 6 inches with the track going up to western South Carolina. And that's all I have for this update. Thank you for watching Forecast Lab.